Hey, I'm Natalie Potts, and this is the Natalie Potts podcast. If you want to talk about your business, your life, your health, and more, then you are in the right place. We do it all with humour, love, and inspiration to help you create a life you love. So, let's dive in. Today, I am going to be sharing with you how you create leads and get. No, I'm joking. I hate the word get. It's a real thing with language for me here. I want you to think about how you attract, okay? And I've intentionally said it that way because I really want you to think about how powerful language is and the type of person you are attracting. I say the word energy sparingly, but really notice the energy of the people that come towards you, okay? And this is really important because I want to set it up right from here. Most coaches don't believe in themselves and they do not trust themselves enough. There's two things that I see right now in coaches who are doing really, really well for themselves in their business and coaches who give up or think this is too hard, are that they are not sold on what they do. They do not 100% believe in themselves. They do not 100% believe in their program. And they do not 100% believe how much they can help somebody else. And that comes through an energy. It's like an intuition part. You'll know if you talk to somebody. Imagine talking to somebody and them sharing, like, oh, I think I can help you. The investment for the program is, let me just check. Right, no, it's this. Like, nobody would invest in anybody who is not confident and sure of what they do. So that's number one. And the number two is they do not invest. They do not invest in themselves. And the question to you here is to think about, why would somebody choose to invest in you if you won't invest in yourself? And when you've invested in people, who are they invested in? Because whenever I'm going to work with a coach or a mentor or have an accountability buddy, whatever, I want to know who they're working with, who are their mentors, who are their coaches. Not from the point that I'm going to go and connect with those people, but I want to know that they are, one, invested in themselves, two, they're sold on themselves and they believe in themselves 100%, and that they're working continually hard on their self too, because we never stop learning and we should always be evolving. So I want to know these things right from the start. This is before you even think about you and you building leads and clients into your business. So once you've answered those two questions and been really, really honest with yourself on those two, then you can start thinking about, how do you connect with people? So I'm going to talk you through, it's Rich Litvin's Prosperous Coach, and I'm going to share it and I'm going to build on it in terms of how it's worked for me, because one, I'd never take anyone's work that isn't mine, because that wouldn't be right too. And two, I'm going to show you the idea that there's formulas out there and things you can be doing. And Rich Litvin's not massively into the word formula, but there's systems, there's structures, there's processes, strategies, techniques, and things we can do that work well. And often I can be quite unconventional and want to challenge the status quo all the time or do it Nat's way. And I have to pull myself back and say, hang on a second, this is about sooner rather than later, exactly like coaching is. Success, leave clues, and just do what it says on the tin. Okay, there's a reason this works and the output is this, this, and this for so many people. And to notice what you notice. So if you think of something like meditation, for example, many successful people will say the power of meditation for them, the power of a morning routine. So if so many are talking about it, there is surely something in that, right? So it's about being able to listen, see things differently, and then work out what that means to you and how that can help you leverage, amplify your business, your personal growth. So this is about fearlessly creating powerful conversations. Okay, it's not chats. We're not there for a little coffee chat. This is conversations, rich conversations. And the formula by Litvin, strange, right? So he says that he doesn't really use the word formula, but then I've seen it here for around how he builds his formula for connecting. So again, like loosely let some things go too. So the first thing here to do is connect. So I want you to really think about, how much time do you spend building and creating relationships? And you can do this by thinking about, how many people have you connected with and built a relationship in the last 7 days. Then write down a number, so a number for 7 days, and then write down a number for 30 days. Include things like phoning a friend, catching up with somebody you knew. Who have you reached out to? Is it networking events? Is it a party, workshop, a masterclass, lunch, somebody you keep seeing in the coffee shop? Anybody. And make sure you write it down. So this is all about getting into a genuine conversation with somebody and bringing your personality to it, being curious, exploring the conversation. And it is just about connecting. Ask them how they are. How's life going? How business is going? Ask about their relationships. But don't get too intense at this point. Don't be like over curious, or be a bit more like coming across just asking loads of questions, because that can look a bit weird and it's quite strange too. And it's very, very uncomfortable. So make it very natural to you. Put your own personality and style to it. And that's a lot of what I've learned in business overall. You know, when I'm doing sales practice with my mentor, whether I'm working through strategy, I've got to put my own spin on it and take on it. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. And it just becomes very methodical, and I can't work like that. So again, this is where you can see the investment in knowing how we work really well, and a high self-awareness helps with our business. So ask them what support they need. I connected with somebody who was on my masterclass the other day around strategy masterclass, and I gave them a call after. I said, "Hi, thank you so much for being on there. What was your one reflection? How did you find it? What else can I help you with right now? What's the one thing you're working on?" And they said, "I love listening to your podcasts. I love having the conversations with you when we do. I love following your journey. I don't need any help at the moment, but I've asked. And all I can ask for is a yes or a no." It's very hard when someone gives a maybe to anything, because we're kind of just in shallow water there. So it's about making it okay for somebody to say no. Okay for somebody to say no for now. But if we don't ask, we don't get. And it's definitely something I'm focused on at the moment, is asking for more, because you're only going to be told no. And what's the worst that can happen? If you do it in a respectful way and you build a relationship with somebody, great. And if it's a no and that ends it, then okay, that's cool as well. All the best. So I want you to open up your mind to think about the art of the possible here. What are the conversations you could be having, and who are they with? If they ask you about yourself and what you do, then tell them. You've got to be confident. Again, this is where this part of being sold on yourself has to come through. You've got to talk with confidence about what you do. And so many business owners, coaches, consultants, service-based providers are not confident in talking about what they do. They kind of just go clammy, or it's like, whoa. And that's not cool. Is this your first time you've spoken to somebody? Don't rush it. Slow it right down. Building great relationships takes time. Okay. Think about every conversation the starting conversation you had with anybody in your world right now. It was just a hello, right? Imagine, like, I might even call this podcast like getting into a conversation with hello. I don't know. I'm going to build on that, but it's an interesting one, right? It's something so simple. And again, this is a point where we make business bloody complicated, and we don't need to. Keep it simple. Just connect with them. Then the next step here, and this is a Rich Litvin, is to invite. So we've got connect and invite, and we're going to come on to create and propose later. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because I do this right now. So I had a reflection last week where I was on a CPD course myself for work-life balance coaching, because I'm really focused on continuing my personal and professional development too. And one key takeaway I took in that was the reflection when somebody said that I don't tell people what I do in my business for them to do it. And I thought, well, if you're mentoring, then you can, because you're giving advice. And I thought, there is an element that, as coaches even, the art of coaching is to move somebody from A to B sooner rather than later. So therefore, if I can share something or offer it to them because it's worked for me and it gets them a result sooner rather than later, and ultimately people want things tomorrow, then why would I not ask them if I could share that with them? So I'm very conscious of a tell. If someone's coming to me for mentoring, then I'll share my experience. But also when I'm coaching, I might say if there's something I could really help them on, I say, would you mind if I share this with you? Or would you mind if I shared my experience with you? we don't have to stick to a grow model or any model in coaching. Like, that's boring, that's dull, and again, it doesn't work for everybody. You've got to find your own place with that. And I took the reflection, was like, I don't know that's always true. And bringing it back to this in the conversation part is that you've just got to find your own. And that if I can share with somebody how to move sooner rather than later, I'll do it. And I'm going to do this with Litvin. This works for me. The reason it doesn't work for most people is because they don't do it. They're not patient. Patience is huge in business. Patience and consistency. So step 2 here after connect is invite. And there's a reason I keep sharing this with you, because repetition is the mother of learning. The more times I say this, the more embedded it is for you. But you've got to practice it and make it happen. What we think and what actually materializes are very different things. So your invitation part here is, how many clients have you invited to an experience of a powerful coaching conversation or mentoring experience with you? So I will go out to people and I'll connect. And if I'm feeling that there's something I could do that could help them, the results and what they want, I could help with in my business, that's what I do, that's me, then I'll think about, right, well, how was the energy? Did we build rapport? What would a conversation look like with them? So if I'm curious about a further conversation, I will invite them to a powerful conversation with myself. Okay. Now, there's so many things you can build on this with. You can do a gift voucher and you can share this with friends and family, especially if you don't coach friends and family or mentor them. And you can say, I've got an amazing network. I'm not looking for you to work with me. I'm looking for you because I value our relationship to give me a referral. And this is what you need to share with that person, is a gift voucher for the next 3 months. And they need to connect with me, ... And it'll say that on the gift voucher as such. So it's about, again, the art of the possible, changing the way you see things and doing something different. So this is how I've built on Invite. So one day back last year, I connected, it was Bank Holiday Monday, I connected with 73 people sitting on my Instagram account. And then I just had a conversation with them. I just opened a conversation and I think I booked on 10 calls with myself. And then we'll come on to this, creating a magic in a moment, because I still want to build an invite, but I'm just showing how I physically did it. So even if you think you are speaking to your dream client, begin with this: who do you know? Okay, so get really specific. Who do you know who needs what I do? Okay, ask them. So every time I've spoken with somebody, so that person the other day who then responded and said, I don't need any help, Natalie, it was like, great, thank you so much for letting me know. Let's keep the conversation open, keep connected with me. And whilst I've got you, who do you know who needs what I do right now? You're just asking a question. And people want to help people, right? So if anyone asks me like, Nat, who do you know on this? I'm like, do you know, I don't know right now. Leave it with me. I'll come back to you. And it sits in my mind. And then sometimes it's like that unconscious part, right? It just kicks in. I'm like, oh my goodness, that person, I could help now. I thought of it earlier, actually. Here's an example. My friend who I work with the schoolwork I do, he had sent an email updating his email list about what he'd been doing the last 3 months into Christmas and New Year. And he put on it like, this is what I've been doing. If you know people who need anything, let me know. This is the work I'm doing going forward. And I was like, never thought of it that way. And I replied back, said, love the email. Thank you so much. It's opened my mind. There's nothing at the moment, but I'm going to put that in my I've got a Google Drive and a Trello board where I just put documents or ideas for, it's not now, but it could be in the future. So I was like, you're going to go into there. And then I've been looking at a piece of work I want to do next month. And I was like, he's perfect for that. So it's raising our awareness to things, and it's just connecting with people and seeing what's possible. And it might not be now, might be a no for now, but don't close doors. Keep opening doors. So be really specific with people. Then pause and just listen. Okay, so this is where it's really hard. So you may have asked a question, I've spaced for one client and I only take referrals from people I know. Who do you know? Shut up. In the kindest way, like, just be quiet. And it's so hard, it honestly is, and it feels so uncomfortable, but all I can say with that is that's normal and we all feel it. And the more you do it, the more you get over that. So give them the space to think for a moment. I watched my sales mentor do this at the end of a call where he was practicing and he was sharing it with us. And it was a live call, it was with somebody. And it went silent and it was so uncomfortable. And even he was like, I do this every day. That was uncomfortable. But you do need to give patience and a space for people to think. Now, sometimes they'll even come back to you and say, especially if you've asked them for a referral and you've said, I'm working with people on transitioning from the corporate space into their side hustle and making it a full-time business. Now, if they've got a side hustle and they're like, they need the help that you would offer, then they may turn around and say, that's me. And again, how I can build on this is to share an example is when I was looking at, do I work with some females in exactly that, the corporate space and well-being and work-life balance, I put a message out there, said, hi, doing a bit of research, would love to connect with females who are, the real problems, pain points that they had. So feeling stressed and overwhelmed, can't manage your work-life balance, put everybody else before themselves. And I literally put these points and said, not looking for you to work with me, but really looking as you for a referral. Who do you know? And there was 5 that came back out of, I think it was, I sent that only to 10, that one, females that I knew in that direct, in terms of being a direct ideal client. And they were like, that's me. And then you can have a conversation however you want to build on that, okay? So I'm not saying either don't work with friends and family. If I do, and if I have done, it's been very rare and it's been very clear and intentional on both sides that we understand the boundaries. So it's right for both of us. So I think that's really important to be mindful of. So then they might say it's me, and they might say, how much do you charge? Say, actually, my coaching is a bit more bespoke. I want to work with people and just connect and see how I can help them. So this is about you having an experience, a powerful, life-changing experience here, which is exactly what coaching is. And then at the end of the time together, if you feel that this can go forward, then we can have this conversation on what that would look like for sure. And I can look to make you a storming offer. Pull out your calendar, offer them 2 dates because people are options, and lock it down. So that's exactly what I've done. There's no cold calling there. It's warm, it's comfortable, it's safe. At times it's a little bit uncomfortable, but after a while, again, if you're really sold on what you do, I'm just very much from a point like it would be a disservice for me not to offer this to somebody. And I look at sales like that. For me not to share and serve somebody and make an offer on how they can work with me, like that's selfish because I could be changing and transforming their lives right now to something that they really want. And I could be helping them get that. But actually, I'm sitting in there in my ego, worried too much about how I'm going to come across. And it's all about me. And this is about them, not you. So hopefully that's a real build on inviting somebody and sharing the context of how I've done that and getting you to think about what does that mean to me. And I think that's a great question to think about here is what I'm sharing with you. What does that mean to me right now? The third step, so we had connect, invite. We've now got your magic, creating, okay? Creativity bar. And I love the word create. How many clients could you spend time with in a powerful conversation? So think about, again, how many clients did you work with in the last 30 days? And it only counts if you asked and received their, okay, let's do this, okay? So think about the people you've had a powerful conversation with and then ask them, what would it be like if we did a coaching session together, mentoring experience? Just create your magic. This is the part where you work with them. So you bring them in and you do your mentoring, coaching, or service. You offer that to them and you help them. Okay, you do your magic. So this is where you show up really powerfully. You dig deep and you really uncover what they really, really want. Discover is probably a better word than uncover, actually, if I'm thinking about it. So this is where you don't hold anything back. Like you are bold. You dare to ask them things that they've never been asked before, and create that space. And you're really, really open to letting the conversation go where it needs to go. And I'm deliberately using pauses here because I really want you to use this space to think about what that means to you as well. So when I do this, when I bring my magic to the table, I literally am just investing in that person. And I used to sit there and be worried about what's the next question I ask? What are they thinking about me? Do they think that I don't know what I'm doing? Did that sound good enough? And then it got to a point and I just thought, all that does is take the emphasis onto me. And again, it's not about me. If I literally serve and invest every part of the energy that I have into listening to them, it will just happen. And I have to trust myself on that. So this part of creating magic is you doing what you do to the best you can to serve somebody as powerfully as you can. So they never forget the experience that they've had with you. It's got to be that powerful that they will go away going, that's changed my life and I need more of that right now. Then you propose. This is where you make the proposal to them about how they work with you. So remember what I said a moment ago about the fact that if you do not do this part, you are not helping them change their lives. It's selfish, surely. And again, sometimes words like selfish in language is quite direct for people, but I think it's needed here. I think if we're really honest about ourselves, we need to be honest that the parts that I see really people struggle with, my clients struggle with, are connecting and the proposal. The invite can happen because you've opened up the conversation. The magic happens because that's when they're at their best, and that's when all of the inspiration, empowerment comes through, and they're lit up. The energy they have from being in that space with somebody is electrified. So again, we've gone through connect, invite, create, do your magic, and we're going into proposal here. This is where you have to be direct. So tell them, let them know, share with them how much it is for them to work with you. What is the fee or the investment? So this is where you explicitly say, the investment to work with me is. Now, how do I do this? I have two programs. I have a 90-day program and I have a 12-month program. I also have a 1-day mastermind intensive. And again, I'm going to slightly build on this, but not too much, about the pricing, how we do that or how I've done that is for 90 days, it's 4K. And then I'm going to say just roughly, and then for 12 months, it's 10K. Now, I have two options in terms of payment. So I've got a split pay and then I've got a one-off pay. So what I will do though, in terms of the proposal part, is I will say my most successful clients invest £10,000 to work with me for 12 months. So I'm doing the highest investment tier, however you want to call this at this moment in time. I'm sharing that part of them first. Okay. And then I'll work out, we'll talk about what they need, etc. But I'll always say that. So I'm sowing the seed for the investment and how much it is to work with me. Okay. So this is when you'll work out from their response as well. Is this a hell yeah or a hell no? Okay. So this is where the sales part kicks in, and this is where I've had to then go and be honest with myself many, many months ago when I started out and just say, I need to go and get some sales support here. I don't know sales the way I want to. I need training support. So I'm actually on a sales academy for 12 months as well, which has been phenomenal, to understand how I have, again, great conversations that aren't salesy. They're not pushy. It's serving people. And this is all aligned. So I'm kind of connecting the dots, bringing it all together, all the puzzle pieces together to create the business I want to create in the way that I want to do it, to generally serve people and help people. So none of what I do, again, that being sold on it, I don't see that how I sell is pushy. And don't get me wrong, there's times when we can go into that mode, and there's two sides. People are either very, very salesy, and they don't serve enough, or people can be the opposite extreme and serve too much and not sell. And you've got to kind of find a happy medium. And that happy medium is that you start attracting clients and you get people on your books and you work with them. So that's, for me, the happy medium. Going back to this part of proposal. So this is a proposal, and you say this is the investment, and you make it happen. They pay you. Okay. Again, don't rush this. Slow down, speed up. Because again, you're constantly learning and evolving, and there is always something to be taken from everything that you do. We can always be learning something. So making a proposal is about being really confident. It's about being sure of what you're offering. So like I said at the start, if I was a bit like, oh, I think, a 90 days this, and then a 12-month is this, like who would invest in that? I do offer a 1-day mastermind intensive, which is $997. And that's at the moment, and that might change, but that's very much, there's a lot of background work to seeing what works with that, what doesn't with clients. And again, you've got to be out there doing things, it's not throwing spaghetti at the wall type of stuff and seeing what sticks, but you've got to be experimenting, you've got to fail fast to see what works and doesn't work. So yeah, that's worked really well for me. And that's how I'm bringing it to life and sharing it with you. And if you've got to the end of the coaching session, mentor experience, however you serve somebody, and they've had an amazing insight or breakthrough, sometimes the best thing you can do is just give absolute silence, like literally sit in silence and then wait for them to speak first. And this is really, really important to do because not a lot of people do it. They feel they've got to fill the gap, fill the space. Oh, it's uncomfortable. Let me just talk and it'll be okay. We can move on. But you've missed the opportunity to have and build on an incredible conversation. So again, just be mindful here of you leading it and you taking over because it's your self-doubt's kicking in or you're not feeling confident when it's about them. If a silence lasts for long enough or they say thank you or what next, then you can say, would you like to hear a little bit about what it could look like for us to work together? Okay. So don't rush this part. You're not selling a £15 book, right? You're selling high service and high-end coaching, mentoring, or service-based work. So I really want you to slow it down. I really want you to go back and probably get a pen to paper, even re-listen to this, and think about what I've shared and how I've done it. And I want you to think about what you've been doing and what you will change now. So what can you do and build on? And you've probably got something amazing. I don't want people to walk away thinking, oh, I'm miles away from that, because you're probably not that far away. It might be 1 or 2 tweaks you need to do that could change the whole dynamic and the whole way your conversations go. And that therefore changes the whole way your business is growing at the moment. So really, really slow it down. If you're interested to know more about how we bring it to life and you would like to look at how you can work with me, then connect with me and let's look at which program is right for you. If you're thinking it's a little bit more broader and we want to look at strategy, building the foundations, we look at mindset, skill set, and creating a 365 business plan. And then we also build off of that when we do a very specific 90-day plan, then that's what the Mastermind Day Intensive covers for you. So I'm going to leave it there. I want you to go away right now and I want you to reflect and I want you to write down one thing that has been your key learning from today. And this is a great question I always ask at the end of every single conversation session with clients is, what has been the most useful reflection for you today? Sometimes I ask, what moment has made this the best investment of your time today? Because I really want people to just draw on one thing. The less is more. We don't have to have an abundance of actions that we're going to do either. So I want to then know for you today and share them with me as well. What are your free actions from this podcast today? What are the 3 things you're going to go and do? And put a date to them and a time and when you're going to achieve them by. So over to you. Have some fun with it. Be open-minded. Give this a go. And if you want to know more as well, go to Rich Litvin, the Prosperous Coach, and have fun. Enjoy it. If we're not enjoying things and having fun, then business gets boring and dull. And again, that's half the reason why people don't succeed and do well, because they get too serious. So keep it fun. Let me know what you find and have an amazing day.